Mountain News at 6.
A family of 5 is without a home after a rock slide. All that is holding back a massive boulder from crushing a Clay County family's home is mud and trees from that late December slide. Today I talked with the family as they try to figure out what they will do next. This small house along Highway 11 has been a home for more than a decade.
I think 10 or 11 years, give or take.
Angela Combs once lived here.
Yeah, yep. It sure is.
Once lived.
And it's scary.
Because she doesn't anymore.
It started out like a low rumble, like a thunder. And then all of a sudden he says run and the house starts shaking. So I grabbed the baby and come to the porch.
A massive boulder broke free from the mountainside.
Yep.
Angela's husband watched it unfold through the kitchen window as other rocks darted by the house.
This is where that rock, I guess it broke off of some of that whenever it fell. And as you could tell by the little marks where it's coming down the ground, it was kind of headed towards, that's my daughter's bedroom, but it went that way instead. Smaller
rocks took out cages and this shack, but the boulder itself came to a halt right before hitting the house.
I'm very thankful. I know that wasn't nothing but the Lord stopped that. Yeah, we're very thankful.
Thankful, but the house is no longer livable.
Nope.
In the meantime, they're living with family. But since this is on private property, the county or state cannot help.
No, they said where it was on our property that they wasn't really much that they could, really do about it.
And their insurance won't cover the damage.
Yes, I got told that eventually the house would be in the road. Yeah, I did.
And with each rain, they see more of the mud holding that boulder in place slide down the hill. Now, if you're interested in helping the family, the number to reach Angela is 606-847-4067, and she's looking for a way to remove the boulder from that property or find a new home. Well, now to a sign trending on social media. A sign near the Whitley-McCreary County line really caught some attention this morning. It appears someone hacked the sign, and instead of the original message, the hacker changed it to read, "Send nudes." WYMT's Emily Bennett talked to one man who says it definitely caught him off guard.
Connor, just a few miles up the road here behind me is the sign that said "Send nudes" last night into this morning. Now, the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet was notified around 8 this morning. The sign belonged to one of their contractors and they immediately went to the site and turned it off. The sign is password protected. Now, the sign brought much attention. Devin Stevens says he was coming home from work when he was shocked to see that message.
On the side of the road, we saw the sign and it obviously said what it did. So we had to pull over and take a picture of it, and just for laughs. And we figured we could kind of use that as a learning experience for the road crews. So these signs kind of cause distractions and stuff, so we figured that out.
The Kentucky Transportation Cabinet said that this has happened across the state, but just not here. They are definitely worried about it distracting drivers. I'll have more on this at 11. Live in Whitley County, Emily Bennett, WYMT Mountain News.
All right, thank you, Emily. Well, 2 women charged in connection to a gas station robbery pleaded not guilty this morning. Jennifer Gray and Courtney Simpson face complicity charges. Police say the women helped Alex and Russell Toothman rob the A&B Quick Stop last month. Now, surveillance video caught the robbery on camera. Gray and Simpson will be back in court next Tuesday. The case against the Toothmans now sits in the hands of a grand jury. Well, we're still waiting to learn the funeral arrangements for the grandmother and her 3 children who died in a fire. The group died when their home caught fire in Bell County on Tuesday. The family is set up at Brooks Durham Home, who is handling the arrangements. All of the money donated will go towards covering the funeral expenses. There is another way to donate by reaching out to Bell Central School. Well, in Rockcastle County, a family is without a home after a fire destroyed it. Take a look at your screen. Livingston's Fire and Rescue posted this picture on its Facebook page. Now, this happened on 3 Links Road this morning. Thankfully, no one was hurt. It's not clear what caused the fire.
Well, we started out the day on the chilly side and we saw plenty of sunshine, but those clouds moved in pretty quickly and they're here to stick around. You can see that here along Interstate 64, that sunshine a little bit earlier today, and then those mostly cloudy skies as that sun starts to set. Dealing with those mostly cloudy skies as well over into downtown Whitesburg, but still a pretty mild evening overall. But it's the system that has brought in those clouds. You can see that warm front nosing into our area, and then that cold front way out to the west. That's going to be bringing us some rain and some wind as we head into the weekend. But for now, all of us on the mild side, you're seeing those lower 50s here in Hazard, mid upper 50s Nashville and Louisville, and even those lower 60s down into Memphis. But we will be talking about record-breaking temperatures possible Friday and Saturday. 65 for the high tomorrow, 73 on Saturday. Record is 69 for both days. Could get close to it tomorrow, even breaking it by Saturday. We'll talk about those windy conditions and those rain chances moving in for your Saturday coming up in just a little bit.
All right, thank you, Paige. Kentucky Senate Republicans say their top priority deals with a bill that is aimed to stop sanctuary cities for undocumented immigrants, and it has the support of Attorney General Daniel Cameron. Opponents say it's not needed and is actually discriminatory. WYMT's Phil Pendleton has more on the measure that could pick up steam in this year's legislative session.
The bill was filed on the first day of the session, and Senate Republicans gave it their top priority status.
And I've gotten a lot of questions as to why it's Senate Bill 1. It's Senate Bill 1 simply because it is a public safety issue, and public safety is one of the very basic priority tenets of state government.
Senator Danny Carroll says he and others don't want police to have their hands tied when dealing with immigration agents. And Daniel Cameron announced his full support.
It's legislation that recognizes the incredibly difficult work that our law enforcement members undertake every single day.
Kentucky currently has no such sanctuary cities or safe havens for undocumented immigrants, but the bill aims to essentially stop something before it ever happens.
This bill protects the status quo as it relates to the activities of immigration.
So what this bill does is restrict something that doesn't even exist.
Senator Reginald Thomas of Lexington says the bill is not needed and is actually very harmful and will lead to profiling.
What it says is if there's an investigation, then law enforcement officials have a right to come ask you your American status.
The American Civil Liberties Union issued a statement just before the start of the press conference calling the bill dangerous, saying that it would require law enforcement to blindly carry out requests by federal immigration authorities. In Frankfort, Phil Pendleton, now back to you.
Now, the bill would exempt schools and public boards of education and does not allow immigration officers to enforce laws in jails. Well, the House committee will consider a sports wagering bill this session. The Licensing, Occupations, and Administrative Regulations Committee has posted House Bill 137 for consideration. The bill would legalize sports betting at racetracks and allow online betting. A similar bill was filed last year but did not receive a vote in the House. The state Senate is also considering a sports wagering bill this session. President Trump will officially appear on the ballot for Kentucky's May primary. Attorney General Daniel Cameron filed paperwork on the president's behalf. President Trump is popular in Kentucky. In 2016, he carried the state by 62%. Daniel Cameron says the president has done great things for Kentucky and will continue that in a second term.
And to fight for them, fight for ordinary Kentucky families, to make sure that their interests are being heard in our nation's capital.
Tomorrow is the filing deadline for the primary. So far, the president is the only Republican filed to run. On the Democratic side, there are 6 people running for president: Joe Biden, Pete Buttigieg, Amy Klobuchar, Tom Steyer, Elizabeth Warren, Tulsi Gabbard, and Andrew Yang. Well, advocates for Kentucky's crime victims are making another push for Marsys Law. Last June, the Kentucky Supreme Court ruled the proposed amendment question on the ballot was too vague. Last year, Kentucky voters approved the amendment with 63% of the vote, but the Supreme Court's ruling voided the result. Senator Whitney Westerfield filed a new version of the amendment today. The amendment that would guarantee rights for crime victims includes an added provision allowing victims to be heard and notified in the consideration of pardons or commutations. Well, a two-part project in Hazard is nearly halfway complete, aided some days by warm weather and hampered by others by the rain. Drivers in Hazard may soon be seeing headaches subside. WIMT's Will Puckett has an update on the Kentucky 15 construction project.
The Transportation Cabinet's motto for the project is pretty straightforward.
It's short-term pain and it's long-term gain.
The phrase short-term may be subjective to some, but to the Transportation Cabinet, it is key.
This is an $85 million investment in state and federal funds in Perry County.
The two-part project is using a substantial amount of money, and while it has been a headache to drivers at times, there is light at the end of the tunnel.
We're 93% complete on that, and basically all we really lack on that is the final surface.
Now, that is not the entire project. That is just part one, but it is a step in the right direction.
Part two, that's the one that causes most of the construction, the traffic headaches there.
It is 59% of the way done, but it is the most in-depth and requires the most tedious work.
Most of the work that's going to be done now that people will be seeing will be building those bridges, pouring those piers and setting the beams.
Work that is engineered to take out traffic lights and keep traffic moving quickly and carefully to help grow Hazard in eastern Kentucky. In Perry County, Will Puckett, WIMT Mountain News.
Part 1 should be fully completed this summer, and Part 2 wrapping up in 2021.
We're going to see warm temperatures, windy conditions, and rain chances as we head into the next about 2 days. We'll break down both your Friday and Saturday forecasts coming up in just a little bit.
But first, did you ever want to make music as a teenager, but you just didn't have the means to? We'll show you how Buckhorn High School is helping students produce music.